I would like to dedicate this video to the following people without whom it just would not have been possible to make and I would have given up. So thank you to Caroline L. Abbott, Pete/CJ, and my best friend Ronan. Hello everyone, my name is Jocelyn and today I'm going to be talking about gaming, but I'm also really going to be talking about maths and probability. So this one is for the gamers, but it's also for the math nerds. Hope you like it. So let's talk about Mario Party. I have my appropriately themed Mushroom Kingdom t-shirt on. The Mario Party series started in 1998 originally for the Nintendo 64, and the most recent release, this one for the Switch, dropped 20 years later in 2018. Oh my god, how has it been out that long already? I only just bought it. Each game in the series features different boards that the characters travel around, collecting coins and stars in order to win. Each installment also introduces unique gameplay features and mechanics to keep things interesting. In the latest game, one of these features is that each character has available to them their own unique dice block, with values differing from each other characters, as well as every character also having access to a regular 6-sided dice block with values 1 to 6. Example 1, Mario. Let's look at a comparison of a character-specific dice against the regular dice block to illuminate and clarify exactly what I'm talking about, for those of you purely interested in the maths but have zero experience of the actual game. So Mario's dice block values are 1, 3, 3, 3, 5 and 6. As you can see, it's very similar to the regular dice block. Both have values that total 21, so the mean for both is 3.5. In mathematics and statistics, the mean is a kind of average. Here, calculated by adding all the values together, then dividing by the number of values. To calculate the mean, we take the values of any set of numbers. In this case, we've got the values 1, 3, 3, 3, 5 and 6. And what we will do is add them together to get 21, and then divide that, 21, 6 values, so divide it by 6, and we get 3.5. Simple. So, as I've deduced, Mario's dice is balanced but different, and I would argue slightly better than a regular dice block in most situations. There is a 5 in 6 chance that the number that you roll will be 3 or more, but a 1 in 2 chance that that number is 3. It's more reliable than a regular dice, which I will eventually argue is a good thing. Also, on a player's turn, they can see ahead the spaces on the board that they may travel to. So if there's a hazard exactly 2 or 4 spaces ahead, using Mario's dice would be really useful to completely avoid that. And if not, the player always has the choice to use just the regular dice block anyway. But assuming throughout this video that moving forward more spaces is good and beneficial, that it's better to roll higher numbers, that means that you advance your character ahead of the rivals, a dice that has a 1 in 2 chance of rolling a 3 isn't that exciting. Part 2, Luigi. An example of a higher risk character is Luigi. His dice values are 1, 1, 1, 5, 6, 7. The astute amongst you will notice that while there's a 1 in 2 chance of rolling a 1, the total of the values is 21, just like Mario's dice, so the mean is again 3.5. But these values are far apart from that mean, whereas Mario's hovered closely to it. Thus, I introduced the concept of a standard deviation. Standard deviation is a number used to tell how measurements for a group are spread out from the average. A low standard deviation means that most of the numbers are close to the average, while a high standard deviation means that the numbers are more spread out. So to calculate the standard deviation, you first need to find the mean, which we have done here, and then find the difference of each value in the list from the mean. So, taking Mario as an example here, we've got 1, 3, 3, 3, 5, and 6. So 1 minus 3.5, 3 minus 3.5, okay, and then we have to square those results as well. So we square these results. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's just do the calculation on that. So 1 minus 3.5 equals negative 2.5. Three minus 3.5, that is obviously 0.5 there, so that's negative 0.5. Same thing for these results because they are in fact the same number. Just love doing this number file bit. That one is 2.5. And that one is 1.5. All right. Well, what does that mean? How do we find that value? So negative 2.5 multiplied by negative 2.5 equals 6.25, because when you multiply a negative by another negative, it becomes a positive. If that was not drummed into your head at school or by that one scene in that movie, then I feel bad for you. So here we have 0.25. Again, that's the same for these results because it's the same number. 1.5 squared is 2.25. And this one, 2.5 squared, gives us the same result as negative 2.5 squared, which is 6.25. Okay, so then we have to find the mean of these values. So 6.25 plus 0.25 plus 0.25 plus 0.25 plus 2.25 plus 6.25 gives us 15.5. And then because there's 6 values, what we do is we take that number, 15.5, divide by 6, and that gives us a value of 2.58333333. And then this, you actually have to square root that number. So 2.583. And that gives you the value of 1.607275128. But we'll just say 1.6 for now. And this number here, the 2.583 recurring, this is called the variance. Alright, so now I'm going to attempt the same thing again with Luigi's dice values. So we have 1, 1, 1, 5, 6, and 7. So plug those into the equations. We have, using the same mean as Mario's, because that's just how the mean turned out, equals squared equals 6.25 again. So I'll quickly fill in the rest of these values. Okay, so the values here are obviously the same for each of these. 6.25, 6.25, 6.25. 1.5 squared is 2.25. Then we've got 6.25. And then 3.5 squared is 12.25. Alright, so we've got these values. We'll add these all up together, which gives us 39.5. Divide that by 6, we get the mean of that is 6.58333 recurring. So here we have our variance number. Now we just got to square root that. That gives us our value, our standard deviation value for Luigi's dice is 2.5658007. 197. Oh, my. This is very difficult to do one-handed. Okay, so we can look at this value here and see that it's already larger than Mario's value, which was the 1.6 that we had before. This is a definitive way to show that the numerical values of Mario's dice are far less widely spread out than Luigi's, and far more likely of getting closer to that mean. So reliable equals more predictable, but is that actually good? Well, I'm going to argue that it is. Example 3, Bowser. By far the most extreme dice block you'll see in this game is the one belonging to Bowser. The values on this dice are -3 coins, -3 coins, 1, 8, 9, and 10. This dice has the highest total of all the values, being 28, and by virtue of that, the highest mean, which is 4.67. Continuing to assume that moving a low number of spaces is bad, this dice has 3 excellent outcomes and 3 bad outcomes. It's very high risk, highest reward kind of dice. And of course, losing coins is always bad. So let's focus on those coins for a moment. What are they and why are they on the dice? Coins are the currency used in the game to buy items and stars, the acquisition of which is the primary method of winning. Whoever has the most stars at the end of the game is declared the winner, and in the event of a tie for stars, whoever has the most coins of those who have the most stars is declared the winner. There are other tiebreakers, but let's just keep it simple for now. Bowser's risky dice carries a 1 in 3 chance to lose 3 coins. Other characters like Goomba, Rosalina and Donkey Kong have a chance to gain coins, and this can be really great in the early few turns of the game. But as coins are relatively easy to earn, especially in this iteration of Mario Party, the need for coins on dice rolls lessens quite significantly. Players are better off favouring movement rather than rolling for coins, because coins can be earned through minigames and through landing on blue spaces and certain other spaces. If an outcome of a dice roll has anything to do with coins, the movement is still 0, meaning that the character is no nearer to the star. Example 4, Daisy. So, we might be better off then with a character like Daisy. The dice values for her are 3, 3, 3, 3, 4 and 4. Low risk, reliable and predictable. Great for planning ahead. The values are in the middling range, but she is the only character with a standard deviation that is less than 1, meaning that the values are very, very close to the mean, which you can kind of guess that already just by looking at them. And in fact, Daisy, Mario and Shy Guy are the only characters who have standard deviation less than a regular 6-sided dice. This makes these 3 characters very predictable and thus reliable and easier to plan ahead your moves. But is that all there is to a good dice? Interesting to note here is that another character, Pom Pom, has exactly the same chance of rolling a 3 as Daisy. However, Daisy's other number values, the 4 and the 4, are much more reliable than Pom Pom's other values of the 8 and the 0. Pom Pom's are slightly more extreme. So what can we deduce from all this? Well, IGN suggests that the best characters are Bowser, Boo and Wario. But this is only determined by looking at the mean scores of those dice values, despite also warning of the risk of losing coins and not moving. This, however, tells us that using the mean in isolation doesn't really tell us much about which dice is best. After all, no character can actually move 4.67 spaces. Longer games with more turns see players' rolls kind of average out, but still chancy in very short games. The shortest possible game is 10 turns long, and I don't usually set games to last longer than 15 turns, just to avoid having a game that lasts too long and becomes tiring. As my friend Ben likes to put it, a quick game is a fun game. It's best not to overindulge these things. So instead of relying on the mean, or even the standard deviation alone, I've come to the conclusion that it is better to use a different kind of average called the mode. The mode is a value that appears most often in a set of data values. Thus, it is the value that is most likely to be sampled. And when we're talking about rolling dice, the probability of what number is actually going to show up is, I would say, the most important factor. So, by that logic, the dice with the highest value that shows up the most frequently would be the best, because high values are good for getting to your stars quicker before opponents, and also the reliability and the consistency make for good planning ahead of which spaces the player could potentially land on. So the runner-up character that I consider to be the best would be Wario. He has a 2 in 3 chance of rolling a 6, but this dice is still risky as there is a 1 in 3 chance to roll a -2 coins, meaning the player does not advance as well as incurring a penalty. But the frequency of the 6s might be worth the risk, coupled with Wario's high mean. We're looking at all the averages to find the best dice. However, I'm going to say that for dependable strategy, the best character to use is Shy Guy, with a whopping 5 in 6 chance to roll a 4. Of course, where there are winners, there must always be losers too, and by my reckoning, the worst character to choose is Donkey Kong. His dice gives players a 2 in 3 chance of moving 0 spaces. Even when one of those faces actually grants +5 coins, the limited usefulness of coins is not enough to counterbalance the terribly limited movement. It is situationally useful wherever you need to move 0 or 10 spaces, but when dealing with probability, it's best just to play the odds in your favour. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, Mario Party is valid, goddammit. Longer games with more turns see players' rolls. Fuck's sake. Alright, fuck. Are you done? This is determined only by looking at the characters. This is determined... Yes, that is where I got the idea from. Oh, sorry. 5 minus... Sake. So, yeah, 5 is 2.5. And that one is... No, I can't do maths at all. This is a definitive way of pronounce it properly.